Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the second game. It's Sydney Dingoes versus
Dingoes.
the LA Dweebs. And we are starting this all off onto Rio. We do apologize, it's only just started and it's taken so long, but once again, Call of Duty servers at their finest.
I'll tell you who's at their finest right now, Hyper. It's the LA Dweebs. Again, let me remind you all, this isn't the same LA Dweebs we saw from the last series. This is a new LA Dweebs in the Bronze Premade division. And they're making a big name for themselves right now, trying to distinguish themselves right away from the LA Dweebs that we saw unfortunately fall to Denver Surrender last series, because right off the bat, Hyper, 37 seconds and counting. We'll head on over to the boys in red.
Well, the boys in red are putting up a little bit of a show off the get-go. Elusive, not able to hit his shots or their shots, but in doing so, Sydney showing that the land down under is not one to be feared. One to be feared, as they come back at the hot dog stand, getting a little bite, and in doing so, making sure that LA can't get to it.
I mean, Sydney probably wants more than a bite right now, because they want to make sure that they have control ultimately all over this P2 hill. And right off the bat, you can kind of see slowly but surely the wave of Sydney is starting to move farther back and back until eventually they have nowhere else to go. And LA Dweebs take back the point right over to them. As of right now, backs are against the corner right now, and LA Dweebs continuing to put down the pressure as they rain on in the feed and onto the board. 57 seconds and counting.
I tell you what, this has actually been a great move from LA, because yes, they've only got small number of points onto P2, but onto P3, their rotation's perfect. They're in a prime position here that they can sit there, they can take a couple of kills, and in doing so, just respawn back into play. So rotations to LA side. However, Sydney coming from the north,
Elusive.
not coming out too well.
Yeah, Elusive will not allow them to get out too well. A two-piece, but Diablo will trade him out in the process. Son of Boom, he's got his back, avenging his teammate. And there it is. 84 seconds and counting. LA Dweebs are looking at an easy, quick 100-point start to this map. Son of a Boom, Cowboy are going to finish off the Dirty D, but it's ultimately going to be El Diablo who gets the last lap. 16 seconds of scraps. Head on over to Sydney Dingoes, but LA Dweebs, well, they're close to that 100-point mark. So Sydney, well, you like the breaks, you like the points for scraps, but you want to start doing that a little bit earlier on into the hard points, because, well, keep it up. LA Dweebs will swiftly take home this map.
They will indeed, and I tell you what, LA, all onto ramp, all onto platinum. You need to be careful of the player down low, but Cowboy finds two, says thank you very much, as the two will get returned. Point contested will be won by Kip to Think, and the continuous domination from Sydney on this point will mean that the comeback is on.
I mean, this is exactly the energy you want to see from Sydney as well. That on this point will give them not only the lead just over 90, actually should be at 100 points if no more contests go through, but also, I mean, check it out. El Diablo, well, he got cut off rotation there. I was waiting for the kill to go through. I was gonna say he was ready to go on to the next point, but Era, we'll have something to say about that. Elusive cut one off through mid-cut as well, off rotation. So now Sydney, well, they got an early retake onto that point. Now they're tasked of getting a retake onto this point, which seemingly has been completely defended on by LA Dweebs, but Raven and KT, well, they're not gonna have an issue with doing it at all, because there it is. Time will keep on raining. LA Dweebs might have still have the lead, but that lead is slowly but surely going away as KT picks up his second on the streak. And no sign of resistance so far at this point from LA Dweebs just yet.
I tell you what, KT was able to sniff out that rogue Dweeb, and in doing so, that's now allowed things to be a bit easier for Sydney to hold a little bit of control. They've backed off for a brief moment, allowing LA for a small amount of time on point as they can regather themselves and make sure everything is under control. However, lack of control onto P1 might be their downfall if they are not careful, because the Cowboy and LA Dweebs, well, they've got great positioning, and in doing so, a good rotation coming in.
Yeah, they got a rotation. And the rotation that has to be won. Mind you, P1 is right across the bridge, quite literally from P5. And just like that, well, Sydney will go ahead and capitalize on that. Son of Boom finding two, maybe? There it is. All off the point. They will be. And Elusive take that opportunity to push up through vending. Waiting for that unlucky player to peek him, but no, he'll do the peeking himself and fall at the end of it. Era picking up that nice trade, and mid-map control will still continuously try to be held by Cowboy. Doesn't matter. Floodgates are open, and now Sydney trying to flip those spawns or keep them in their favor for this next P2.
Half of that time was still fought over the old bridge. And that's just how much lockdown control LA have brought onto that P1
Whoa.
site. As, oh, point blank, that's gotta hurt. As as LA can, again, they're just holding P1 like it's their own. Almost a full 60 will go into their favor.
Three.
Not fully, as Cowboy finding two, and the rotation over to P2 will come through. Hot dog stand open for business. Grab yourself a wiener and let's have some fun.
Alrighty. So Sydney Dingoes, well, they've lost spawns. And with 46 seconds left, LA Dweebs showing no sign of slowing down this train that Sydney has been trying to derail for quite some time and take the leads at that. So with that being said, 157, 35 seconds still on time. The wall of blue is trying to cave in on LA, but they're unleashing the cavalry hot lead right into their bodies, stopping them dead in their tracks. And just like that at garage, well, in a couple of seconds, yeah, there it is. Elusive just keeps on stacking bodies.
Bodies pile up and eventually it's got to be disposed somewhere. Sydney, have the rotation for next point, as it's quiet. Well, for our screens it's quiet. The feed's still coming in, but Sydney, they've got good positioning. They will be able to hold off the first of the LA parade, but a full 4-stack will come in, and one quick breach is all you need to do. Son of a Boom will take the first, but Cowboy will get traded out elsewhere on the map, and immediately LA continue to apply the pressure. It's still going to be all feed blue. It will stay blue, and in doing so, nothing that LA can do.
Let me tell you something, Hyper. Cowboys was just killed off of a 7 streak, and right now off that respawn, he showed no sign of slowing down from vending. Now watching, waiting for boxes. Someone to push through. He finds one, trying to find the second. Almost kills his teammate in the process, but his teammate's able to avenge that kill, and there it is. Just his teammate. There it is, right to the dome as well. You can tell this guy, he's not letting anything go through his radar undetected, and unfortunately for him, Sydney Dingoes will continue on reigning into the feed and onto the board. That is, well, not quite at that 200-point mark yet, but LA Dweebs, they're... Oh, there it is, 200 points. Sydney Dingoes, now they can feel the intensity of the game start to close on in, because from here on out, LA Dweebs, all they in theory need is one hill to be held, or at least a combination of 2 half hills, and they've got this game in their favor. But as of right now, Hyper, Sydney Dingoes, they're not going to let this one go away without kicking it, screaming, and putting up any sort of fight they can first.
We need to keep Cowboys away from his own team. That's the second time he's killed his own teammate, and this has allowed Sydney Dingoes to gain some good points here. But now, LA Dweebs hop onto point. They can't win it here, though. They will have to go to P5, but the fight is far from over. Cowboys trying to sniff out the gentleman inside the garage, but in doing so, we'll find El Diablo, as Diablo is found the 2-piece. And Sydney Dingoes, hello.
LA Dweebs just barely only got about 10 seconds on that hill at garage. But now, well, P5 is here, and so are the boys in red. This is a crucial hold to be had. You want to be able to close it out here, because Sydney Dingoes have been able to sort of take what they've been given and get those retakes, get them done, and once they get the retakes, defend their own. So with that being said, a huge 1v1 for Raven to win. He finds one, not the second, shot a little too overconfidently, and now at this point in time, nades galore back and forth. The tacticals have been exhausted, and now it has to resort to just pure MCWs. And let me tell you, Hyper, Son of a Boom, well, he himself, along with Cowboy, have found their footing. He killed his teammates a couple times before, but his KD as of right now should very well be making up for it.
Yeah, it should be making up, as Cowboys actually gets a return fire from Son of Boom. And this will be done and dusted for the LA Dweebs. a confident start. Had sketchy moments, a little bit of questions, but LA Dweebs, map 1 in their favor.
There goes map 1. LA Dweebs. Son of a boom with a nice one. Last one to the dome, to the body. Shooting hot lead all
This
past
game.
map. So it probably should be playing a little more for ticks. A little more for picks here and there. And a little more with the strategy rather than just sort of spraying and praying.
Well, off to the races these fine gentlemen go, as you would say. As Sydney, well, they're not going to go for the norm. They're in fact looking to go for the opposite. They look to go A, and I don't think LA were really predicting this, as Error gets information as a fight will ensue at the back of the cafe. It's not going to be one, it's going to be a little squabble over to that side. KT will win that, and in doing so now allows Raven to get the second advantage towards Sydney, but Error was there, son of a boon, capitalizing, but in doing so, KT takes down Error, open sight now, 1v1, 23 seconds, and son of a boom. You've got to win we've got to win the fight and find a plant. He's out in the open, that stun's going to give away his location! Sydney takes round 1.
That rush plan onto that point is exactly what Sydney needed to open things up. I mean, presumably everyone thinks, right, you're going to go on over to B, that's the safest route to go. But sort of going into this, especially after that hard point loss, strong, confident, and calculated right onto that bomb site. It's exactly what I said not 30 seconds before. Strategy is going to persist on Karachi more than actually hitting your shots. And as a result, that early bomb site increases the intensity, put the pressure right onto LA Dweebs to allow them to make that simple mistake. Peeking bomb, standing, scratching your head right at mid, top window, finishes the rest, and there goes number 1 to Sydney. But the question is, Hype, whether or not if Dweebs can answer, but with the same energy.
Well, they're going to answer onto that B site if they can. As the quiet before the storm get that information, try and force utility to come through. But Raven and Jaina, or Jaina? Gianca, we do apologize. We'll be waiting there patiently. Gianca getting 2-piece now, 3-piece actually, into his favor. As elusive, last alive, a dream of a 1v4 clutch.
He's got that little smirk in his username, Hyper, so hopefully with this play here with an ace, he'd be able to make all the boys over on his team smile with his username. But with that being said, well, the intensity's starting to be there. He's got the bomb in hand, and wait a minute, it doesn't seem like anyone's checking bomb right now. Hold on a second. Hold the phone. Hyper, he just got the plant onto the objective, and just like that, guns are going to be flying through. It was funny while it lasted, but at the end of the day, Sydney will clean up shop and get that defuse done and dusted. Round number 2 in their favor.
You said elusive have a smile on his name. Well, he's definitely made me smile because that was a crazy plan. How do you
turn
pull
on too?
that off?
He almost
Like,
turned on him.
Yeah, just how'd you get away with that? If he's getting away with something that simple,
Look.
A ninja defuse is not out of the question here. You know I love one of those.
Yeah,
That is not out of the question.
Look, it's not the question of how he's able to stiffly do that. It's, to be honest with you, how the hell did Sydney not see that was the real question to be asked. I mean, they got the notification that the bomb was planted, and then on top of that, they still let him get away through chicken coops. But with that being said, it doesn't matter. Sydney, I'm sure, rewatching this would say, well, Scav, we won the round, and that's exactly what I'm going to agree with them on. So 2-0, LA Dweebs, 4 lives at Sydney, same ordeal. And wait a minute. I mean, looks like they're going to be reading A, but Sydney, well, they got B all to themselves, and what are you doing? Go ahead, make yourself in, make yourself known, and push on to the point before it's too late.
Yeah, Sydney, they're still playing this methodically. They're trying to clear all those corners, understand where LA is, but in doing so, the wraparound from the rear is going to be the most critical piece of information. Raven's going to call this out, and in doing so, now they're going to have to look behind in their own spawns, because danger is lurking there. Cowboy finds the first, and Sydney, under an immense amount of danger. This isn't a firefight you're used to, because they're now having to fight in different angles.
I love hearing you say in the midst of chaos and seeing that sloth run around the entire map, every which way with bomb held tightly in him. But I couldn't agree with you more. He goes through the back spawn. I'm not sure what was going on, but nobody's home. Well, someone is home, and he's got a barrel right to his forehead. So Gianca, bomb still held tightly in hand, will get the bomb plant, but now he'll be the one that needs to pull off an ace.
Gianca finds
Oh,
one. That's a great start if you're Gianca.
oh,
Find those 1v1 picks. It's around the corner. Son of a
yikes.
boom. The flash will do well. The stun, but no commitment inside. They wait patiently. Bomb now being defused. Gianca, he's got to somehow get
Oh.
close to the bomb. No, not going to happen.
I thought for a second there, Jonka would have been able to take over Cowboy, but didn't really work out. Not much you can do. I mean, at least you found one. Couldn't find the last three, and even if you still took out Cowboy, there's oh, it was Cowboy who was sitting sort of that back cafe area. Even if you were to get out Son of Boom, Cowboy still would have been able to, you know, finish that dirty deed and get things done and dusted. The fuse was already going through. LA Dweebs take a little bit of an exhale now, a deep breath, as Sydney Dingoes will not continue to reign in their streak of winning rounds.
At least we're not having a dominant side again. Well, I say again. We're not.
You
It's
never
not
know. Could happen.
It could, but I don't think it will. LA, taking it just, you know, at their own pace. Having a little, you know, siesta, relaxing. Not for long. Son of a boom, first blood says thank you very much. And in doing so, Raven trying to get aggressive inside of their spawns. Son of a boom also picking up a second, making this a 2v4, but Raven... No, unable to get the angle, but thank you very much, finds one. Is there two? No. Spray transfer does not go into his favor.
I think Raven should have really just got that first kill on Bridge and just sort of ran away with it, took it, and play a little more for strategy, because you can see right here, Cowboy sought him out right away as soon as he heard the shots, and had Raven just sort of play himself back and play for that other pick that he saw Cowboy at, would have been a much different story. But again, sit here and speculate all we want, but at the end of the day, tie game 2-2. Sydney Dingoes got the ball in their court. Bomb sitting right in front of Gianca. Last time they had it in their hands, it was an unfortunate reality where they got the bomb down, weren't able to finish the job. So that being said, Gianca, I'm sure saying to the teammates, give me another chance, I can do it. And whether or not if they can, we'll find out in just a second. And I'll tell you what, a good way to get it done is taking out Elusive right away.
Well, Elusive probably doing more damage than he had to himself. That smoke, well, it did allow the sloth to jump
Oh my
through.
gosh.
Elusive, still alive, and now with the
Oh my
bomb in his
gosh.
favor. You saw the eyes was looking at possible BM, but Elusive there, prepped, ready, great information, and already LA moving down to that B site, getting themselves prepped and ready for the attack.
2v2 situation now, Sydney. Got a sting when you know that bomb is on Bridge, especially knowing that El Diablo's the last alive, but Raven are still alive as well. 1v1 situation. It'll be a 2v1 clutch in technicality if he's able to pull this off. And Son of Boom sitting right across map there for quite some time. Not exactly sure where the comms went through, Hyper, because I'm pretty sure LA Dweeb knows where the bomb is. So just like that, it's going to be a free retake right onto the bomb. And if Raven can keep his head low, he can plant right onto the bomb. And Dweeb, Son of Boom, is he making the rotation? I don't even think he checked bomb. And as a result, there goes the mistake that'll cost you perhaps the round.
We did say this was a pre-made league. And there was zero communication there. Absolutely none.
Oh my gosh.
And that's going to cost you dear.
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to talk to your team. You saw the bomb. You knew where it was. That was just a silly error on their behalf.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate error at that. But I mean, we're gonna see a lot of that. You even see the CDL. You know, pros will do that. Every level of competition, the CRL will do that. In my opinion, Hyper, is it's not the error itself that is what creates the judgment I have on a player, particular team. But at the end of the day, it's what you do afterwards that is kind of the defining factor of if you've learned from your mistake, and whether or not if you have, it's gonna be as simple as just not doing that again, or maybe even popping off the next round to revenge yourself. So there it is. There's the opportunity to do it. 4v4. No shots have been taken so far. So if you're LA Dweebs, you're in dire need of winning that round back.
Gotta say, it's quite peaceful at the moment. It's Cowboys. Gonna put the bomb down. This would be a ninja defusing spot if you are El Diablo. And he's sneaking around like a slithery snake as he slowly makes his way through. This is exactly how a ninja is done. Oh, you had to ruin it at the last second.
So you must be hating Cowboy now, Hyper, but I honestly am going to go ahead and say that they've learned from their mistakes. They went ahead and checked bomb immediately after it was planted because they know what happened the last time they did, and it ended up with the Sydney Dingoes name being shown on screen and not LA Dweebs. So they've been able to fix their mistake. Still remains a tie game. So sorry, Hyper, that you must have a personal vendetta now against Cowboy for ruining your Ninja Defuse moment. But at the end of the day, you gotta do what you gotta do. They did it well.
You gotta do what you gotta do, but I still like myself a good ninja defuse. Born and
Rhymes.
raised ninja, born and raised ninja defusing since oh, what was it? Call of Duty Ghosts.
Blech.
Hey, hold up. It was a great game because
Just clearing my throat.
You could hide in the grass. All right, that's the only reason you could hide in grass.
Well, I'll tell you what, Hyper. Cowboy can hide all he wants from bottom red, but Sydney Dingoes are all right above him at this point in time. They've opted for that same strategy, that same A strategy that was employed earlier on in the first round and was succeeded.
Well, tell you what, Cowboy getting the first, finds two, gets taken down. Now bomb. Its location given away. Son of a Boon's left alive. But with information, it only lasts for a brief amount of time. As Sydney, doing the safest option, making that rotation, they know their position's given away. Yes, is it predictable? But Son of a Boom, well, he's not read this. Bomb going down, B site. And this is going to feel like a long run. 40 seconds left. You have a lot of time, but now a bit more of information.
Son of a Boom, this is your opportunity right now to make up for what should have been a round win just 2 rounds ago. And whoa, heyo, like a ninja, he runs around and he finds one on Gianca, the person that put him to rest not too long ago. 15 seconds left. You don't want to go for the defuse that early because I'm telling you, Hyper, it's Bronze Premade. These players know better than that. And as a result, Sydney Dingoes, there it is, El Diablo checking site immediately right after he saw the kill feed go through. 2 and 5 to his name, but crucial kill to be made because right after this, Hyper, if Sydney is able to keep on chugging along the train, that'll be map point, and you don't ever want to be at that point in time, especially when you're LA Dweebs and you're down 3.
You're almost making it sound like you can do better than them. And that is still
maybe.
a question mark. That is still a question mark.
I think I could.
You could?
If you give me the X-ray, if I'm in Codcaster while I'm playing, yeah.
Hey, if only it was that easy. As Error will get the first, Cowboys will find the second. And Elusive keeping things going. That was a 1-2-3 inning. Thank you very much. Job is done.
I think we're, at this rate, Hyper, we're going to be going to round 11. We certainly are. I mean, you get one from Sydney, one from LA Dweebs, and you get to a point where you're playing so well, so closely aligned to each other competitively, that at that point in time, there's not much else you can polish. It's just maintaining that integrity and maintaining that intensity when you go into each of these rounds is what a lot of teams will start to struggle with, that precision, communications, and not getting so fatigued when you're this late into the search game. So Gianca, again, bomb held in hand. And there it is again, Hyper, that A push. Cowboy left to leave a mark here, as he'll be the only one here to stop this force from coming in.
Well, if he's any cowboy, he knows how to create a great ride, but it's not going to be the dance that he wants to do. Error is waiting by another close by. COD timing. again. And his favorite point is error. Unable to hit the shots. And in doing so, it's going to put him in an even more difficult situation. But through Dumpster, look who's behind it. KT. Jump through. He's spotted him. That's going to be a good kill. 2v2. Now the game's alive.
Yeah, and you can kind of see it too. You usually like to employ the buddy system here, but at this point in time, LA Dweebs can succeed at not doing that because now they're on both ends right now at this point in time. And, well, the smoke's going to go through. Gianca's going to try to seek out the diffuser. There's still time. 7.5 seconds to defuse. It doesn't matter. Not enough time, Hyper. And Sydney Dingoes, on what was a sloppy ending, will take home that round. The smoke, I was going to say, was a little bit of a question mark, questionable decision, but it worked out for him. I mean, Gianca, hey, got him lost in the smoke there for quite some time, to the point where LA Dweebs lost complete concentration. Weren't even able to execute what would have been an easy 2-1 win.
Tell you what, the smoke, I feel, was just there to mask his attempt to kill the diffuser. So done to perfection, if that was the case. Map point going towards Sydney. And this would be a round they need to force a map 4 as LA Dweebs, if you remember, have map 1 on the hard point. But this is not the start that Sydney wants to do. As LA, first time they're going to go to the A site. And in doing so, great success. El Diablo left alive.
It's a cheeky little angle there. Too bad you're not able to see the bomb there. And elusive. Whoa, hey there, buddy, you'll say. Right to the dome. If you ever want to wonder, Hyper, if bullets are hurting, hey, you might as well ask Diablo, because elusive just unloaded a whole clip right onto him. I don't know how he saw that, because I personally would have never saw it, but there it is. Round 11.
It's a cracked door. Like, you're going to shoot through any cracked door because someone's behind it, and if you walk away, it closes.
I don't think that far into it, Hyper. I'm not going to lie. I'm not that analytical when I'm playing. No. I didn't know that. I honestly thought that it stays cracked.
No. MWIII. They added that feature into it. I only know that because I watch content creators and make fun of it. But nonetheless, LA Dweebs, 1 round away. Sydney, Ron, 1 round away. Elusive takes the first blood, and that's going to be help. Brings it back to a 3v3. And all's to play for. Son of a boom takes advantage for the LA Dweebs to bring it to map 2 for them. But they still need to close this round. Bomb is down. I don't know if Son of a Boom knows it's right behind him.
I think he does. Yeah, slid right through it. He's playing it right now. So this is a chance for redemption, Hyper. You remember earlier on mid game here that he choked a crucial 1v2 and Twitter let bomb unattended from a lack of comms, and now he's not doing the same thing. So Ira will go ahead and run like a madman. He'll take this as a field day to seek out the last few players of Sydney, and it doesn't even need to boil down to Boom, because at the end of the day, LA Dweebs, sort of in a little bit of a more anticlimactic fashion. Doesn't matter. Paper still says 2-0 in the series.
It still does. And this time, I'd honestly say that was a closer round than that hard point. And unless you're Denver, you can win 2 attacks in a row.
That boils down to this. Sydney trying to hang on by a thread, just as they were in the hard point, to redeem themselves as worthy opponents in this series. But if you're Son of a Boom, you're picking up right where you left right off. There's 3 to his name, 2 headshots at that, 1 with the Renetti. Right to the guest on over, and he will continue on going. There's 4, 5, excuse me. So eventually KT ends all his suffering.
How did Son of a Boom hit those shots? Jesus. And if there was a man of the Lord up above, he's definitely blessing the Boom, because it is working out well. 6-1 just to start this game off. And already Sydney, they're struggling here, because guess what? Cowboy is already into their spawns, playing by info, creating chaos, and in doing so now, we're going to try and trap the entirety of Sydney inside the palace. They find a little break. They find a little bit of hope and an opportunity at A.
There it is. Time is ticking. Diaz with that full tick on. Son of Boom not necessarily being that strong gunny as he was earlier on in the round, but it's okay. Elusive picking up the slack. There's two to his name. Ezra will find one as well. Elusive 3 to his name. And as you said earlier, what will seem to be like a nice little conga line from Sydney onto A has shortly ended into a massacre. As a result now, well, LA Dweebs did a good job at A. They now got to defend B. Time is ticking. There's one. El Diablo will get the pickup onto Dark. And Son of Boom, the headshot master so far, will seek out any more boys in blue to take out into the process. Onto the point they've been infiltrated in Diablo. Well, he'll be the last alive. Son of Boom will take him out and get another one. Two-piece to his name. And just like that, 1 second left. There's not enough time, Gianca. There goes the round in favor of LA Dweebs.
Ooh, domination and control. LA wants this game done and dusted. I'm not surprised if you are LA. It's 12:03 right now in Eastern Standard Time. If you're Central, that's 11 o'clock. These guys are ready to get the blankets, get the plushies, and snuggle up into bed.
Son of Boom is 11-3 right now. And that's only one round. A round that didn't actually go to its full extension. It didn't boil down to lives. It actually just, the timer went out and no points were captured. So right now, this is a huge opportunity right now for LA Dweebs to continue on going and close out this series early. I mean, you can tell Son of Boom is hot. They'll find the second pick of the round in the favor of LA Dweebs. Sydney Dingo, your piece of advice, take him out early. Gun him down if you can. Take care of business. Don't let him get out, because right now, ladies and gentlemen, 13-3 still hasn't died just yet, and will keep on reigning.
He just is an animal. Raven able to get onto point and start to clear away the progression that has happened. But in doing so, LA, they're going to move their way over to B, maybe start a stack, not just yet, as they play this conservatively. And realistically, that nade doing a beautiful job, but no trophy system down, and that's going to be hard to deal with. KT, now he's going to start to try and do some dangerous work, finds one, but it's already red. Son of a Boom saw that from a mile off.
Like you said, Hyper, slow and steady wins the race. They're all there, and they're all sort of ready to pounce onto the point, but I don't think LA is very comfortable right now with establishing himself with time, at least without pushing some people back, which is exactly what Raven is going to try to do. Son of Boom take him out. Diablo will get the trade at that. So 2 ticks over at B, which, if not mistaken, should put them at the same tick marks as Sydney at this point in time, or at least pretty darn close to it, as Bianca will continue to be a menace right onto that site. The standoff right now between them and the rest of the boys in red, only they stand in their way. As of right now, well, time is ticking, LA, and there comes to a point where you can't be so quiet and conservative anymore with how you play.
Yeah, you've got to be aggressive if you are LA Dweebs, and they're going to start to put 2 people onto point as El Diablo comes on the rear, denies the round, and says, thank you very much, jobs are done. But one last attempt, as they will try and capture A. This will allow a little bit of time, still 10 seconds. They're able to rush El Diablo on point on that B site, and they are going to have to rush him. Make sure they get on point 3.1. They can't go off. They can't die. That is a successful push. The Raven, they're waiting, but in doing so, is their time minute added just?
Minute's been added. And not only that, LA Dweebs have also seemingly put themselves in a position to pull ahead in the tick game as well. So Sydney Dingoes, well, you want to put an end to this round, not just because you don't want to lose it, but also just to help yourself when it gets to that round 5, if you ever want to see the light of day for it. But Gianca, that's a huge kill on Son of Boom that prevents all of that freakiness from behind the spawns from the man who's been a menace all game long. And again, like you said, Hyper, LA Dweebs, surprised, they're playing this extremely slow. But Sydney, well, they're seeking him out and seeking him out well. 14-8 right now in the lives. Cowboy, well, he'll say enough is enough and sit on the point. Don't owe your silver chow there, because if you do, Jonka's waiting on the other side. Elusive, pick one up from mid-map, and from behind, he reads. This could be it, Hyper. Time is ticking. That's all 4 off. 9 to 8, and what seemed to be 8 to 16. Now, Sydney only reigns above by 1 life. They're not going to stack the point. Wise decision, but a risky one out of that. So there it is. Cowboy gets 1. There goes the second from Son of Boom. Diablo last alive. Son of Boom finds him, but from behind, the team kill goes through. He's still sitting onto the point. 5v5. I'm sure shivering in his boots he is, and he loses the 1v1, but the nade comes in to avenge him. KT trying to cut off the reinforcements to go through, but Elusive finds 1, finds the second, and he sits still. Diablo right onto the point. 10 seconds left and counting. The pinch works out beautifully, and a photo finish from LA Dweebs with the cruise missile right to the head will end this round.
It was a pile, it was a stack, it was anything and everything that they could do. And LA, oh, that was a nail-biter of an end. With Slither left, El Diablo held the point the way he needed to. He allowed time for Sydney to come back, but they just couldn't get past the reinforcements and the grouped reinforcements that were of LA Dweebs. And LA in a prime position here to do the 3-0 sweep. They just need to defend like they did on round 1.
Yeah, it's easier said than done at this point in time. Now you cannot afford. You have to be nearly perfect at this point in time to take home this map and take home the series. But Sydney, well, to that early start from LA, they get that tuple, they'll answer right back to it. And as a result, all quiet for now. No rush capping onto A, as Jonka is sick of the nonsense. Doesn't matter. They're ahead. Cowboy sitting onto the point, guarding it, not allowing any more time to go through as well. Like I said earlier, Hyper, you've got to be near perfect if you're Sydney to think about even forcing that map 4.
Well, in doing so, they're going to go to that B site. Only KT going for the cap. No stacks just yet, but look at Son of a Boom once again. Finds 1, but it will be red quite quickly. So Sydney not taking too much of a damage, but have they read the second player of Elusive? Elusive there. It's going to be red now, as they do have to drop back. And guess what? Cowboy's now going to be a pain in the rear end. So Cowboy is going to start up the train and the palace trap. And this could be dangerous for Sydney, because as players slowly fall, they will come in the firing line of Cowboy.
Yeah, what seemed to be, you know, them finding their footing and finding their rhythm as Sydney Dingoes would danced along all and over to B. They were cut off immediately as they tried their journey onto A. Like you said earlier, Cowboy was lethal there for quite some time, just hanging around in their spawns and causing absolute headaches here and there. I mean, you got to wonder how many of these guys in Sydney are going to buy some Advil, ibuprofen, because of the headaches that LA have been sort of prescribing to them all game long, and it's just going to keep on going. Era, Cowboy. Dynamic duo will continue to reign on through. Cowboy with the wall bang will stop for nothing to get this series done.
Look at El Diablo. That's number 3 on your mini-map. He's really pushed far forward. And if he had great control and it cleared out a lot of the LA Dweebs, I would be praising this move. But he's out solo all by himself.
Seeked out.
I don't feel it's going to be the strongest position, because in doing so, LA are not even bothered. They don't care about him right now because he's not a threat.
Well, I'll tell you what, Hyper, that push from KT, from the distraction of Diablo, might have been what the plan was, but at the result, I mean, Elusive wasn't phased. He just flicked right onto him, a headshot right to the face, and was just like, all right, that's it. You know, like nothing else, nothing to see over here. And as a result, nades, shots are flying through. I mean, Era's on a 7 streak, Cowboy's on a 6. They got cruise missiles to play with, Hyper, at this point in time. I mean, for the 19, my goodness gracious, an over 10 life deficit at this point in time. Cowboy still from behind the spawns. All hope has been lost. There's nothing much else you can do. And to top it all off, the cherry on top, it was all red in the feed.
If someone was writing a script, I don't think it would have been written like this. 3-0 on the control. 3-0 in the game. That's game, set, and match.